Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes' Tottenham blog and to this evening's preview for tomorrow night's game against Colchester. I'm going to be going through the team news, predicted lineup and my prediction for the match. So if you want more content like this, plus interactive live streams, match reviews and breaking news videos, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and click that notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload or go live. So to begin, Tottenham have let out the official team news for tomorrow night's Carabao Cup game against Colchester. There's no new injury concerns for Mauricio Pochettino. It's only updates on the two players that have been absent for quite a bit now. Giovanni Lo Celso, he's continuing his early rehabilitation after he picked up that hip injury in the international break a couple of weeks ago, playing for Argentina in a friendly against Chile. The other player is of course Ryan Sessegnon, who hasn't played since we bought him from Fulham back in August. He is continuing to be monitored as he continues his rehabilitation. We know he suffered a small setback in the injury before last week's Champions League game against Olympiacos. So that time frame for his return has been pushed back a bit, and we don't really know if he is going to be available for the game tomorrow. Now, as for the predicted lineup, it is a Carabao Cup game, so absolutely anything can happen. Playing a team like Colchester, I do think obviously there will be a lot of rotation, and Pochettino has used this competition in the past as a place to give young players a major opportunity. You know, players such as Oliver Skipp, George Marsh and TJ Ayoma got their first minutes for the club in this competition, and I think we will see a lot more players like that getting in their first professional action in this game tomorrow. Now, the first one is of course Troy Parrott. He has been shining for Tottenham and Ireland at youth level for the majority of this season now, and he even played really well for us in pre-season, so it does feel as though he's going to finally get his chance to be in the first team. The same with Japhet Tanganga, who was exceptional for us in pre-season and has continued to do well for the Tottenham youth side this season so far. Now, the two of them did travel for the game against Leicester on Saturday, but of course weren't in the squad. They were kind of there as emergency backups in case anybody picked up an injury in the warm-up or something like that. So it is evident they are very, very close to making their breakthrough into the first team, and this could be a great opportunity for them to get those first minutes under the belt and show Pochettino that they do deserve to be in this first team. So I think it's going to be a 4-2-3-1, because when you're rotating like this a lot, it will be better to kind of use the system that these new players will be used to using in their coming up through the youth ranks and stuff like that, which is something Pochettino has implemented at Tottenham. He does want all the teams at all the levels to be playing the same football. So I think in their first kind of venture into the first team, it will be that 4-2-3-1. Now, I think it will be Paulo Gazzaniga in goal. I know a lot of people have been calling for Alfie Whiteman to get his first appearance, and Alistair Gold of Football London was one of them. But I think it will be Paulo Gazzaniga. He was a bit dodgy against Leicester at the weekend, and in the past when he has stepped up for us, he has been really, really good. But even in pre-season, he showed a few kind of nervy moments. So hopefully he can get this game, more than likely get a clean sheet. If he does start, you'd hope he'd get a clean sheet. So I'd like to see him starting. And I think this is a really good opportunity to bring Kyle Walker-Peters back from injury. You know, he's been missing since that defeat to Newcastle, I think. He's been close to getting back into the team, but of course he hasn't yet. Serge Aurier has kind of broken into the team now, and Davinson Sanchez has featured at right back a bit, but I think it'll be time for Kyle Walker-Peters to get back into the starting 11. Now, in centre-back, I think Japhet Tanganga has to get his first start. As I mentioned, he was absolutely exceptional for us in pre-season and was one of our standout performers in a number of games, and I feel like he does deserve to get this chance in the first team. Even if he does play, I don't think he will be thrown straight into the Premier League squad after that. It's going to be a very gradual thing, and I think it's something Pochettino has learned from his mistakes with young players in our team in the past. You can specifically look at Marcus Edwards. So I think these players will be eased into the team, but this will be a good opportunity for Tanganga to get that first start. Now, alongside him, obviously, there's a load of different options. Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Davinson Sanchez, and we haven't had any updates on Juan Foyt's injury in a couple of weeks now, so I'm actually unsure as to whether or not he will be available for this game, and if he has been available for selection in the last couple of games. But if he is available, as the team news would perhaps suggest, I would love to see him start in this game. Of course, hasn't played since the end of last season. He kind of postponed his honeymoon in the summer so he can get back to Tottenham for pre-season, and then he suffered that really bad injury against Bayern Munich in a pre-season competition. And it was absolutely very harsh on him to miss out in the start of the season, when it did seem as though he was going to be our first choice right back going forward. So I'd love to see him starting in centre back, which is more of his natural position, and getting him his first minutes of the new season under the belt. Left back, I think, do have to kind of add in a bit of experience in that defence, and that's I think where Ben Davies can come in. Danny Rose has of course had the majority of minutes this season for us, so I think this is a good opportunity for Ben Davies to get some minutes under his belt and show that he does deserve to be pushing Danny Rose for the starting team. Now, in the two behind the midfield, I think we're going to see the return of Oliver Skipp and Eric Dyer. They're two players who I think absolutely do deserve to get into this team. They had a lot of first team action last year, and for Dyer, there's a few injuries that kind of broke up his season. But in this game, it's, as I'm saying, for everybody, it's just a good chance to get minutes under the belt, because you'd imagine no matter what type of team we put out, it's a game that we should win. And even having said that, Dyer and Skipp are Premier League quality players. Skipp did really well coming in for his first season last year, and Dyer has been a really good player for us for 3 or 4 years, and just been really unfortunate with the amount of injuries he's picked up. So I think a combination there of Dyer and Skipp, also giving obviously Winks and Dembele Sissoko a rest, get some new players into the team. I think Wanyama's performance against Leicester on Saturday may kind of make Pochettino opt for Eric Dyer rather than him, which has been unfortunate for Wanyama, but it does seem as though he's kind of gone past it now, and it may be a situation like Dembele, we do need to just ease him out of the club now, which obviously is unfortunate, but a really good opportunity for Dyer and Skipp to get into the team this weekend. Now, the three behind the striker, I think because of the amount of options that we have in that position and the way there's been a lot of rotation this season, I think he needs to go with a really strong three behind the striker, which I'll get on to in a minute. I think Lucas Moura deserves some time. He made his debut for us, I think it was away to Rochdale or Newport in this competition, and he scored a goal in one of those games that we actually drew and ended up having to win in the replay at Wembley. But it's a good chance again for him to show Pochettino that he does deserve to be in the starting team more than he has been this season. And when he does play, he tends to do really, really well. And it's just unfortunate for him that the style of player that he is, he seems to have a better impact coming off the bench rather than playing games from the start, which, you know, it's not his fault, I would say, but because he has that pace and that he's just so quick, he can hurt teams easier when he's making an impact later on in the game rather than from the first whistle. Now, in the middle of that three, I think we need to give Dele Alli some time. Absolutely awful performance against Olympiacos last Wednesday, and he didn't even travel with the team to Leicester on Saturday. So I think he does need to get into that first team and hopefully pick up a couple of goals. You know, I don't want to say this is more his level of opposition, but we know when he played in the League One with MK Dons, he scored goals for fun. I think he was the top scorer in the League One his last season with MK Dons, which as a midfielder is of course a ridiculous stat. But yeah, this is a game that could really suit him, and he could get some form, get some confidence back. And it's all about with him, because of the amount of hamstring injuries that he does get, it's about getting minutes under his belt again and kind of working his way back to full fitness. Now, the third player in there, obviously there are a load of different options. If Sessegnon is fit, as I said, he's being monitored. If he is fit, I'd love to see him start, but I don't think he will be match fit enough to start from the first whistle. So I think, you know, you could opt for maybe a few younger players in there. I know another two that Alistair Gold mentioned, Jamie Bowden, he's more of a kind of deep-lying midfielder, and Harvey White, who in pre-season for us played in left-back. I don't really know if he can play in those more advanced positions, but if there is going to be two experienced players like Dele Alli and Lucas Moura in there, maybe one of them could get in that team. But personally, I would opt for Eric Lamela, again, just to keep that strong line behind the striker, because we need to score goals. Obviously, it goes without saying we're not going to win without scoring goals, but we need to kill this game off as early as possible so that the young players coming in can just enjoy themselves and make it a bit more relaxed than having to fight for a winner later on in the game, or the worst case scenario, bring it back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for a replay, because in the packed schedule that we have at the moment, we absolutely do not need that. So I would opt for Eric Lamela there. And up front, I'm obviously, as an Irish fan as well, I'm really, really hoping that we get to see Troy Parrott's first start. You know, some of the goals he has scored this season have been absolutely ridiculous. Like, we know before Harry Kane broke into the first team, he was scoring goals, mainly in the Europa League, but for the youth team as well a bit. And they were just like typical poacher goals. But the goals that Troy Parrott is scoring, they're proper quality, you know, goals you'd expect to see from Harry Kane now. He scored one for Tottenham, one of their youth teams in the home stadium, where he kind of turned and swiveled on the edge of the box, and with his left foot, his weaker foot, he whipped it around in the top corner. And we saw that brilliant chip he scored for Ireland a couple of weeks ago. So I really hope we can get to see him in the starting 11. And look, I'm expecting a comfortable win in this game. Anything less will be a bit of a shock, but we need to bounce back from that game against Leicester and Olympiacos as quickly as possible. And even though it will be a rotated team doing it, getting that win on the board, getting back to winning ways is going to be really important. And I think, as I said with that team, the three behind the striker is the kind of most experienced area of that team. But even the two holding midfielders, if Dyer and Skipp are there, they have a lot of first team action under their belt, specifically Dyer, but even Skip, he's played 20, 30 professional games at this stage. I think he would be a great player to have in the team, and we should comfortably beat them, because even that defence with Foyt and Tanganga, Foyt has played in the first team obviously before, but Tanganga, we know the quality he has. He's an absolute beast of a centre-back, and he can bully those Colchester strikers and kind of keep that clean sheet for us. And a clean sheet is another thing we do need, because we've struggled this season at the back. Obviously got that clean sheet against Crystal Palace, but if memory serves me right, that's the only one we've gotten this season. Of course, conceded to Villa, Newcastle, and a couple against Leicester as well. So it's really important that we do rotate the squad for this game, but take the game properly seriously and go out and make sure we can get that win to progress to the next round of the Carabao Cup, because it could be our best chance of a trophy this season. So we need to make sure we get the job done, hopefully in the first half, so we can kind of enjoy the second half more and see that game out. So that is all I have time for this review today. If you have enjoyed the video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Leave your predicted lineups and predictions for the game in the comments down below. I'll be going through all of them and replying to you and stuff like that. And if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure to do that now. Thanks for watching.